So 5 weeks and 64 matches. The 2018 Russia World Cup was the usual tale of extreme highs and disappointing lows for everyone, except for the winners, France, who are still celebrating late into the night across Paris, France, and even the lucky ones that were in Moscow. South Korea, of course, were eliminated in the group stage, but went out with a bang with an amazing win over the 2014 World Cup winners, Germany. So we thought we'd take a look back at the highs and lows of the tournament. With us in the studio is Paul Neate. He is Associate Editor for K-League.com and Citizen columnist for K-League United. Paul, thank you ever so much for coming in to see us so early in the morning.
Thank you. Yes, good morning.
So let's start with the final then, France versus Croatia. It was quite a thrilling match. Most pundits beforehand were saying it might be quite cagey, as these finals generally tend to be, as they're so high stakes. That being said, do you think France were the worthy winners of the tournament? I mean, they did face a variety of very strong teams getting to the final itself.
Yeah, exactly. That's perhaps why they do deserve to be the winners, because if they beat such strong teams like Argentina, Belgium and Uruguay as well. So and they got stronger as the tournament went on, I think. So yeah, they are deserved winners.
Yeah, and it really was an exciting final, the highest scoring final since 1966, if you count extra time, a World Cup we're very familiar with, but yes, in normal time since 1958. So you have to go a long way back to find such a high-scoring final. Now, it was a World Cup of surprises, many powerhouses from South America and Europe. They got dumped out of the tournament relatively quickly. Which teams surprised you, firstly, in terms of how well they did in Russia, and which, on the flip side of that, which teams really underwhelmed? I
think the hosts, they surprised a lot of people by being so strong. They got out of the group, got to the quarterfinals. It's always good when the hosts have a strong tournament. Yeah. I think it adds to the atmosphere of the whole occasion. Sweden, obviously, who were in Korea's group, no one would have thought that they would top that group. And also Croatia as well. They won that group. They won all their 3 games against Argentina. So those were the 3 standout surprises for me. Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't mention England, because most people in England, I don't think, expected us to get to the semi-finals.
That's true. Yeah, I think perhaps we were thinking that perhaps quarterfinals, and then after that would be
anything's a bonus.
Yeah. But yeah, England surpassed our own expectations as England supporters. Yeah,
absolutely. So they came 4th, and Belgium came 3rd in the 3rd place playoff, if you watched that. Now let's talk about South Korea then. They had 2 defeats, lost to Sweden, lost to Mexico, and then the big one that everyone will remember for many years to come, the amazing win over Germany, which no one was expecting. And also, deep down, I don't think many South Koreans were really expecting them to get into the round of 16, considering how tough that group was. South Korea really unlucky with the draw. But do you think that South Korea really did themselves proud in Russia?
I think because of the Germany win and the performance, then yes. They were unlucky, I think, in the Mexico game. They played well. Against Sweden, they were unlucky in the sense that they didn't get the right decisions from the referee. But they ended on a high, which I think is very important, because it kind of made the supporters feel proud again of their team. Yes, they didn't go through, but they knocked out who were then the holders of the tournament, and in such dramatic circumstances as well. So I think they can be proud, but it masks over some issues, I think, there.
Yeah, so you could say that victory may have papered over the cracks of what is still a team that's struggling to come together and perform against the teams, you know, a dozen or so years ago they might have been expected to beat. Mexico, of course, are very happy that South Korea won that game against Germany, because that gave them the ticket through to the round of 16, and we reported on that several times here on Arirang. So going forward from here, what do you think South Korea have to improve for the next World Cup 2022 in Qatar? It's going to be in November, so more than 4 years to prepare for that. Hopefully they do qualify. Do you think there are a decent crop of young players, either in the team right now or about to come through. You cover the K-League a lot, so you see these young players that are playing week in, week out in the K-League. Do you think that South Korea in the Gulf nation in 4 years from now can do much better than they did in Russia?
I think so. I think if they can try and find some of these younger players and bring them through and give them tournament experience, because there's going to be the Asian Games coming up soon, then the Asian Cup as well early next year, and there is a lot of good young players coming through, players that play for the likes of FC Seoul, Ulsan Hyundai, people like Hwang Hyun-soo and Han Sung-gyu, for example, and Park In-hyuk, who plays for Daejeon. So there are some talented young players coming through, and hopefully these next two tournaments can give them some valuable experience.
Do you think, though, that if they move away from the K-League and if they can find a European team that will take them, that would serve them much better rather than playing in the K-League, which, let's be honest, the standard isn't really that great? Do you think they should really try and broaden their horizons somewhat?
I think it's best to be playing first-team football. I mean, if you look at some of the examples who have gone to Europe, like Lee Sung-woo, he was in the Barcelona youth team for a while, and he finally got out to play in Serie A in Italy and finally got some first-team football. And you could argue that he could have been getting much more valuable experience playing in the K-League or playing somewhere else week in, week out. That would perhaps have served him better. But, of course, playing for some of the big clubs in Europe or some of the more stronger leagues, it's obviously going to help. But I think first-team football, that's very valuable.
Well, unfortunately, we are kind of running out of time. Just quickly, though, on the Korean Messi, there is a lot of hype around him. Do you see him being a future captain? Do you think he really does have what it takes to become the next big star, replacing Son Heung-min, who's going to be 4 years older in 2022? Do you trust that he has the ability that can take South Korea forward?
He's got the ability, but he needs to be coached. He's still very young. He's 20 years old, and he's clearly very raw. And he hadn't had a lot of first-team football. He only played he started one game for Hellas Verona last year. So he needs first-team football, and there's plenty of time between now and then for him to do so. So I think he's got the ability, surely, here.
OK, well, Paul, thank you very much. We're just watching video of the players returning to Incheon International Airport. They did get a hero's welcome, probably because of that wonderful performance against Germany.
Sure.
And let's hope that in 4 years' time we can see an even better performance from the South Korea team. And just in general, I think the quality of football in Russia has been really good, and also the organisation, which many people were thinking, oh, could Russia really organise a World Cup that well? I think they answered all those critics extremely well. Paul,
Absolutely.
thank you very much.
Thank you.